Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for joining the 2.2 release webinar of S-Drive. We are going to share some really exciting features and new features of S-Drive today that we are just releasing. So if there are some documentations about it that you cannot find on the internet yet, if there are some glitches, I apologize for that, but we're going to handle all of that today. So probably by Monday, you will be able to see all of it, or Tuesday, I guess, for the ones in the US because of the Memorial Day weekend. And to be honest, we really appreciate that you joined this session on a Memorial Day weekend. So thank you very much for that. So before we start this session, I just want to give the word to Bülent Dogan. And let's hear from him what he thinks about this release. Bülent?
Thanks. Yeah, thanks, Burak. So we started at kind of a different era in our S-Drive little application. I call it little because it used to be pretty small footprint. We didn't really have a lot of the features that we have today. But with 2.0 release, we kicked things off by, first of all, having everything ready for Lightning. And we started, and our team at that point was to explain to our customer base that we are going to turn this application into a document management system with the same philosophy in mind, which is customer oriented, with full support to our existing customers, and going forward to add many more features that everybody is looking for and they have expressed interest in the past. After the 2.0 release, we continued our commitment by going with our 2.1 release, where our team at that time was the 7 wonders of the world. We came with 7 fairly large features. And in those 7 features, we started continuing our strategy by adding collaborative features like the chatter support, and then adding additional support for supporting external users by leveraging SURLs. We added extensibility to our platform, and we called that as actions. So you can actually create your own functionality within our system and handle document workflows in a different way that you haven't experienced before, because we now open the possibilities for our own customers and integrators to build their own solutions on top of our platform. So now we came to 2.2, where we continue our enhancements, and we continue to deliver value by adding more features as well as enhancing the current features. So we are expanding on our various ideas that we have created. First of all, it was collaboration. So we are expanding on that. We are adding more functionality to share with others. We're adding more document management features, better previews, various other features that are mostly going to be very helpful to our existing customers, and it will also help us build our strategy further into document management. And we are very committed into this, and our background essentially allows us to build a better solution. We come from the digital asset management background, but we are, first of all, a services company. And when we say we are a services company, we are very much customer oriented. We work with largest companies in the world to deliver digital asset management solutions, and they trust us with their most valuable content. And we extended from there, and we provided additional services to our customers. So our expertise is not just with Salesforce, but with the document management, content management systems overall. So we are expanding our services also into Salesforce, and we are providing our expertise from working with content into systems like Aptus, where you can handle contract lifecycle management. And then we are continuing our investment into S-Drive with document lifecycle management. So going forward, our investment to S-Drive is going to be a lot higher. And a good testimonial to that is Burak is now part of our team, has been part of our team since 2.0, but he's taking over the S-Drive practice along with the Salesforce practice and pushing that forward. So we have actually created a practice within our company to push this forward further. With that, I don't want to take away the excitement of 2.2. So I'll pass it to Burak so he can talk through all the great, exciting features of 2.2.
Thank you very much, Bülent. I'm Burak Fenercioğlu. I am the new senior manager responsible from the Salesforce practices. And as you can see here, and as Bülent has described, we just, it's not only about S-Drive, so we just wanted to mention about this. So if you have any needs around document lifecycle management, or if I could do this automation on Salesforce just to make it more fluid from an experience standpoint, you can always talk to us about that, reach out to us, and we will be more than happy to help. And the same goes for the contract lifecycle management. It's a critical piece for us. We were not feeling that comfortable yet until probably a couple of months ago with Aptus and the tool. But now that we have some clients and now that we have a full-blown understanding of the tool and closely following Aptus, I think we are comfortable to do any kind of contract lifecycle management. But obviously, bridging the contract management and digital asset management for you is going to be our strongest point. So before I jump into the release and talk a lot about the release, I guess this is all about the demo and all the new features. So I know you are all excited about all this. I just want to mention that if you have any questions, please put them into the chat. So as I complete each and every section or a feature, I will take a look at the chat, and if you have any questions, I will try to address them. Before we jump into the demo and what 2.2 means, I want to mention about one piece that is critical, which is GDPR, right? So everybody's talking about it. Everybody is, well, on the consumer side, everybody's upbeat about it. On the, I guess, enterprise side, some people are a bit anxious on this, but it's a very, very important regulation, in our opinion, and we are probably doing an overcorrection, I would say, in our practices. So in terms of mass emailing you, I guess this is going to be the last, this was the last one that we have done. So we are going to be extra cautious about mass emailing. So we prefer, and it was always working that way anyway, the personal touch with you and trying to solve your problems. And more importantly, what we have is a new services agreement that you can find under sdriveapp.com /GDPR. And along with that, there's a data processing agreement. So it's not only about us, we know that. So once you are using S-Drive, you're also using Salesforce. So we're trying to make it easy for you to find what Salesforce is saying about GDPR, and also Amazon. So, and you can also reach our processing agreement, data processing agreement here. So we are taking this very seriously. So we are establishing, inside our organization, we are establishing a data processing office just to internally audit everything that we have. In our scenario, I think for S-Drive specifically, we are not necessarily storing any customer information at all. We don't do much of that or anything, but during professional services, you are obviously getting exposed to some private files, folders, etc. So that's common. So, but again, so according to this agreement, we are committing to destroying anything that we have in any way from your side. So you can read more about this, what we are trying to achieve with GDPR and what it means to us here. All right, so going back to the release. So since I joined a couple of months ago, I had the privilege to, I guess, do a lot of listening sessions. So I can say a little over 50 so far. So thank you very much for taking the time to sit down with me and help me understand how you use S-Drive, because that helped me paint this picture that you see here. So I was under the impression, and I was told pretty much that, oh, it's all about the large case file management is where S-Drive is used. But what I learned from our customer base is it's not only about that. It's not only about Service Cloud. So there are multiple different ways of our customers using us. So I just want to talk very briefly about what each and every one of these mean, and then I will jump into the features demo. So one of the things that I heard is basically about Marketing Cloud. I guess we have 2 customers using us for the Marketing Cloud purposes. And the whole idea is to centralize their digital assets in one place where they can do versioning of their documents and keep things tidy inside Salesforce, etc. So I just heard it from 2 of our customers, so it's not a very common scenario, but still, I think there is that. And they came up with some ideas about how we can enhance their experience. And we'll talk about that, how we are doing it in 2.2. Sales Cloud is another one. And for us, Sales Cloud might break into multiple pieces. One of them is the sales team management. So we see people putting all kinds of like account plans and opportunity plans, strategic deal management, documentation and everything on S-Drive. So that's one, I think, use case that we see. The more common one that we have seen is with the sales operations. So with the sales operations, all kinds of codes, invoices, and all these documents that are more customer facing, where either the sales or the sales operations need to share with their customers fast and easily, they are actually using S-Drive. So that's also another bucket, I think, that is a critical kind of a use case. And the third one is the Services Cloud. So, and that's the most common one, I would say. So in order to request files from your customers during case creation, or in order to share certain like large files like CAD documents and stuff like that with your customers or your partners, you can definitely leverage S-Drive. And that's, again, the most common, I would say, use case. So the Communities Cloud is the other one. And for the Communities Cloud, what we have seen is, for example, if you want to share rather large files or folders with your channel partners, or even sometimes with some end users, you will be able to do that with S-Drive. And finally, we only have one customer, I would say, for doing this, but it is the Commerce Cloud. And for the Commerce Cloud, and even with Salesforce, I think this is an emerging kind of a new cloud. We don't see too many usage of Salesforce for e-commerce purposes, but it is growing. We saw that at Dreamforce with Adidas and some other companies already using it. And again, for that one, we also have a pretty nice solution, because you can, again, centralize all of your digital assets on S-Drive, on Salesforce, and then you can publicly share now. And I'll show you today about that. And listening to everyone, and I guess the Connect Cloud is where it's a little bit of again, an important piece here, because some of the people that we talked, more like prospects, are telling us that, hey, my documents are residing in SharePoint, or it's in Box, and I want to display that easily on Salesforce. Can you guys do something about that? And we will talk a little bit about the Connect Cloud and what we mean today and what we have done with this release. All right. So without further ado, so let's start with the first one. And the first one that I want to show you, a completely brand new feature, is the HD quality file previews. So we used to have the preview and thumbnail feature, right? So it was working fine. But the reality is now it's HD quality. You can see all pages, everything about a file without even downloading. So let me quickly jump into a demo environment. And you can test everything by going to our AppExchange page if you want to. And then if you click on Test Drive, You can test it by yourself, all these new features. So let me go to our demo instance. So, okay, here we are. So one thing that I will do is I will just go to the S drive. And so when we say HD quality, the first thing we understand, I guess, is the videos. So let me go into the videos folder real quick and click on this movie. All right, so if you want to, you can expand the file this way without even downloading all of this. Yeah, I guess you guys get the point. So that's basically something that we are enabling. So if you have some videos that you want to keep on S drive and without downloading, you want to be able to see it, you can do that. All right, so let's go back to, I guess some of you might ask, okay, is it only about videos, right? So I just want to show you with some other documents how it looks like. So for example, we're talking about marketing. So I just want to show you how it looks in PDF. So we have a new playbook when it comes to Marketing Cloud. So if you're interested in how to expand your usage of S Drive for Marketing Cloud, so you can read about this. So as you see, this is the first page. You can go into the second page, third page, this way. So you can basically display all of that in HD quality. And is it only PDF? Well, Salesforce files can do it too. You're right. So let's take a look at the PPT. And the main issue with the PowerPoint, as you know, with Salesforce files or something like that, is that the quality drops significantly, all the fonts and everything. So as you see, the quality has not dropped at all for the same file. So that's the beauty about having the HD quality with no resolution loss. And again, so you might wonder about, okay, how about the Word document? And this is our new policy. So this way I can show you this as well. So as you see, you can easily see the documents now. So I just want to see if we have any questions. So I see one. How do I configure preview and thumbnails? So what you can do is you can go into the S Drive configuration. So and under S Drive configuration, there's a section called Configure Preview and Thumbnail. So if you click on it, currently it is configured for us for several objects like accounts, case files, contact files, etc. So that's why it's checked. So you're supposed to check those for the ones that you want to enable previews. And then if you generate the preview thumbnail for the existing attachments that you currently have, you can do that. So you can click on go and be able to do it that way. Now, I want to urge you about something though. So the preview and thumbnails is going to actually cost additional money for you if you just generate those, because what we do is we convert your files that you currently have and then put them under your Amazon S3. So therefore, there is an additional cost with that. So I just wanted to make sure you understand that. So there's another question from Ellen. So he asks, is there a page restriction on previews? The answer is no. There is no page restriction on previews as far as I can see. So I could only test with 250 pages and it was working pretty nicely. So I just wanted to urge you about that. All right, let's see if we have any other questions. Can you embed documents into other pages, or do they have to be off a part of the S Drive tab? You absolutely can. So you can actually embed documents into other pages like accounts, opportunities, and during the demo, I will show you all of that. No problem there. All right. Okay, so let's move on. So that was the HD quality file previews. I hope you guys enjoyed as much as I do. I'm super excited about this feature that we have. And now let's move on to the Sales Cloud. And what is important about that in this release, I think, what is critical is the document collaboration. So initially on 2.1, we enabled chatter, but it was a little clunky, as you remember, to use it. Some people came back to us, how am I going to leverage this, etc. So what we have done is a full-blown kind of a document collaboration. We enabled that with 2.2. So in your documents, you will be able to mention people, request reviews and stuff like that. And let me quickly show you how you can do that. For that, what I will do is I will go into an account this time, because I guess there was a question from Igor. Hey, does this work in other pages, other objects, right? So let's see. I'm going to try this in lions and cats. So let's go into this account real quick. So let's assume a scenario where we talked a little bit about the sales team management, right? So let's assume my manager is Burak, which is me. And I am done with my account plan for this particular account, lions and cats. Two of my favorite animals, by the way. So let's click on the account plan. And as you can see here, there is a chatter box, right? So it's not only the details. This is basically showing you the metadata of your file. But here you can basically chat. There are already a lot of chat going on. So what I will do is I will share an update, and I will tell my manager, which is me, just for the demo purposes, the draft account plan is ready. All right, so that's important to let him know. He's excited about this. So once I share, right, this particular chatter message, what happens is I will, if I go in to my mailbox, I basically get mentioned, right? And then if I click on it, I will be able to get into this particular file that I got mentioned. If let's assume this is an account plan, so I will be able to review the account plan and approve or not approve and all that. Or also, if I do not understand from the document itself, like which account is this all about, I can click on this button here now. This is again a new feature that we have open in S Drive. So when you click on it, what it does is it automatically take you into the account itself and show you exactly which file you have been previewing or looking at. So we are trying to make this all fluid for you. So the whole experience is fluid for everyone. The other benefit of this is like if you're searching for an account plan in your in Salesforce and all that, you will be able to easily find now these account files. So that's another kind of an important benefit of that, right? So let me see if there are any other questions for this. So everybody is super excited as I am about this. So I'm glad to see that. And the second one, let's take a look at the lead conversion improvements. For that one, I mean, some of you obviously looking at Lightning, you're not used to it. I don't blame you. I am not used to it that much. So let's go to the classic experience for the leads and let's try it out there. It doesn't mean that it only works in classic. I just wanted to change things a little bit and make you see what is going on with the lead conversion. So normally with Salesforce files or any other file management, document management solution on Salesforce, when you are converting a lead, you don't have an option, right? If you want to convert a lead to an account, opportunity, and contact, you don't have the selection of picking one or the other, right? So you're always either your files do not carry over, that's the bad scenario, but some file management solutions don't even carry them over. And with Salesforce files, people struggle, but write triggers and here and there, they try to make it work. And what happens is they do not give you the option with Salesforce files on picking and choosing. Okay, I want the lead file to be carried over only to account, only to contact, or both, or whatever. So what we are bringing to table with this release is that flexibility, right? That's very critical. So right now, under the S Drive configuration, when you're converting your lead files, and I know inside sales teams, day in, day out, they are dealing with leads, and it's very critical for them. So you have the option to select these contacts, accounts, opportunities. You can just say, hey, I only want this to be converted into accounts and opportunities. Hey, I want this for all or whatever. So you can basically pick and choose whichever way you want these lead conversion, right? So that's the beauty, I would say, about this whole thing. So I'll save it. So what I will do now is I will go into a lead, right? And in a lead, as you see, we have several folders, files. Inside sales is sometimes very busy, adding a lot of different files and folders and all that. And so inside these folders as well, as you can see, there are some documents that gets generated. So basically what I will do is I will click convert, and that, let me check if everything is in good shape for conversion. I want to create a new account. I want to create a new opportunity. So I'm keeping these as open. We have it in there, and we also have the opportunity as well. All right. So I guess all of these are right now in there. And as you see, along with the basically the leads, all the files and folders that are associated with them gets carried over. So what is important to understand is, and as you see, if I click on home, I will be able to see it. Okay, it just gets executed now. So as you see, the folders are here, the files are here. So opportunity files gets carried over as we requested from the system. For the account itself, again, so all the files and folders are carried over. So I can look into, okay, for this one, I think there was no file on the lead videos. So that's probably why. Let's get the photos. So photos came along with this, etc. So so that's kind of cool. And let's look at the contact itself, right? So that was the last one that we wanted our files to be transferred over. So let me check that as well. Voila. So it's also carried over. So as you see, you can basically carry over anything this way. All right. So any questions on the lead conversion and how this is getting done and how it works? Okay, let me check if we have something. So is this a org setting is the question. So yes, so what you do is on the S-Drive configuration, you basically need to set this up for your org, depending on your org needs. You select that. So that's that flexibility is brought at the org level. So we don't have it at the lead level or profile level yet. But at the org level, you can select that. Okay. So any other questions on the lead conversion? All right. So if there's anybody that has some inside salespeople in their organization using S-Drive, I hope they're excited as much as I am. All right. So that's basically the small kind of features that we bring to the table for Sales Cloud. And let's move to the giant, right? The Service Cloud. I think that Service Cloud implementation, people love S-Drive and use it very often. So for that one, what we want to show you is cases with attachments. So let me take you to our org again. This time, I am going back to the Lightning. And what I will do is I will go into a community, right? And obviously, there's a community for S-Drive fans. So you can look at that, our community page. So here, what you can see is this is basically a community page, right? And we will talk a little bit about this, but let me jump into the cases now because we want to cover the Service Cloud and case management. So what you guys see here is a brand new component from S-Drive called cases with attachments. And I'll show you a little bit of the mechanics of how you can add this and how it works and all that. But this is basically a button, right? And you can make your own, whichever way you create cases today, whichever fields you have, etc. So just by showing or putting your URL, you will be able to use this, no problem. And I'll show you again how to set this up in your community. So, but let me show you a little bit about an example of a use case. So what we will do is we can enter some information. Let me do 1, 2, 3. And I will click Add Attachments and Submit. So as you see, rather than making people making people enter, right, just create the case first and then add the attachment later, what you do with that button, Add Attachment and Submit button, is you're able to add some files to your case right away. So what I can do is, let me check my pictures real quick. Let's take a look at these. I can add like a couple of them. I can drag and drop it. So as you can see now, if I click upload, simply, I'm able to upload a couple of these, and then I can say continue. All right, I just want to add one more. I forgot about this one, right? So let me add this one. And then I will click upload. All right, so I have 3 now. And I did not submit the case yet. That's the beauty. So you can still say like, oops, I actually added this document by mistake. So let me remove this. So you can easily do that. You still have this button here. So if you click on it, then your case is basically created. So one thing we can do, just to check whether it's created, it's 1027. As you see, it is getting created here, right? So that's, and it's getting created along with the attachments. So that's pretty much what we have brought to the table, is this flexibility of not only adding a case and then add an attachment, like multiple files at the same time, but you are now able to do both of these operations at the same time, right? So any questions on the Service Cloud and creating case with attachments? Let me check. Okay, Mike says, say we needed this yesterday. Is it available now? So yes, so it is available now as of today. You can go ahead and download it from our AppExchange site, which I just showed, I guess. Okay, well, it's not. Let me see real quick. Let me take you back to our, so what you can do is, if you want to just try it out in your sandbox, you can just click on this button and you will be able to test it out there. Okay, one more question from Nick. Is this case attachment functionality also available in Classic, not just Lightning? I wish. No, not really. It's only available in Lightning. Sorry about that. So that's the bad news, I guess. But if you are going to create, like, I don't know, an Apili-based template or something like that, you will be able to leverage that. Otherwise, we have a workaround. If you get in touch with us, we can help you doing this. It's not as fluid as this process that I just showed, but it still works. Okay, let's see if we have another question. Okay, all right. Looks good, and I see that more than 20 people joined, so that's pretty good as well. So let's move on to the next one. And the next one that I want to show you is, okay, let's take a look at our agenda here, is the Communities Cloud. Folder-based search is what I want to show as part of the communities. That was really requested. That we have a couple of rather large, automotive industry customers that want to manage a lot of files. So some people, particularly in the Service Cloud, they want to manage really, really large files. And then with the Communities Cloud, what we see is a trend where people want to use this like a real document management platform. In other words, like if you have hundreds of like thousands of files that you want to manage in folders and like in an organized fashion, we hear that all the time nowadays. What comes a bit clunky so far until 2.2 was, how am I going to search all this and find that file that I'm looking for? And therefore, we expanded on the search functionality. So now we have the folder-based search available. So let me show you real quick how it works. And I hope you will be as excited as I am on this. That's huge for us. All right, so let's jump into the our community page again. All right, so here, as you see, we have multiple folders on the left. They are listed, and they're also here. So let me make a search, right? And as you see, it kind of does this dynamic, nice move. And then I write cloud, right? Because this release is all about cloud. So I'm just going to write cloud as a keyword and just click on it. So as you see, this area now is shaded with blue. That means that you are basically in the search environment right now. So you're basically searching our database for files and folders that has cloud in them. And it basically lists all 11 files that you can see in this particular search. So there are 11 files with the name cloud. What is beautiful about this is that it actually shows you, as you see, in each and every folder, how many of them. So, 6 of them are here, 4 of them are here, 1 of them are here. So if you basically search for the cloud in just these documents folder, you can click on it and you're able to see all these 4 folders. You can basically click on them. You're still in the search, by the way, and take a look. Oops, that's not the one I'm interested in. You can go back. You're still in the search mode. You can click on this, et cetera, et cetera. So until you find what you're looking for, you can still be in the search mode. Nope, this is not what I'm looking for. Let me go to this one. And then you can do all of that in here. And until you hit close, you're not getting out of the whole search mode on S Drive. So that's one piece that we have enabled. So I just wanted to let you know about that. Another question about this coming from Alan. So he says, does this folder-based search only work in communities? The answer is no. It works everywhere. Actually, like across the board for accounts, opportunities, S Drive tab, wherever you want, you will be able to do a folder-based search. It makes it super easy to find what you're looking for in S Drive. Let me see one more question. This is really awesome. Okay, that's good to know. Just want to make sure that this will search only the S Drive files for logged in user, right? I mean, customer A won't be able to be files. Yes, customer A will only be able to. We did a lot of testing for this. So just to make sure that when you're searching, we are not opening a backdoor to like another user where you restricted from seeing the files. Just by searching, they're able to see it. So we stopped that. So we did a lot of testing on this just to make sure it works that way. So yes, the answer is yes, Divya. It actually works that way. So no issues there. All right. Any other questions? Let's see. Okay, I think it looks good. All right, so let's move on. Let me see where we are now. Again, so as you see, some of the features, even though I put this under Communities Cloud, it really is not, right? So it's across the board. It's really a nicety of this release. And I think probably the biggest piece from a technical challenge standpoint, that was the biggest one, being able to publicly access the documents that you allow, right? So far, we were copying the URL and then posting it. We enabled like short URLs, so it's kind of a short URL now. But with Commerce Cloud, right, none of this helps. You still need to be able to access those images, videos, and all that. Let me take you again to S Drive. So let me close this. All right, so let me take you to S Drive. What I want to show you is, let's assume I want to share the entire folder with, actually, that was one of the requests coming in from our Commerce Cloud users is, it's not only about the images. I want to be able to share a particular folder and all the content along with that folder. Check this box, and then what I will have here is the public link, share files with public links. So if you click on it, now you can generate a public download link, right? So the copy URL that we all used to know, it is, yes, it is still that copy URL that you really like to use, but it's on steroids because you can set a password now. So here's, let me put like my name, B-U-R-A-K, and then I will confirm my password, B-U-R-A-K. And we want to urge you that you need to save this first because the link, the parameters of the link changes. So you need to save, and then you copy this. Now, all right, so one thing I want to show you is, let's not, I'm doing this all in Chrome, so just for a different experience, let's assume you're the person that you want to share this information with actually want to see it in an Internet Explorer. So if I click on it, this URL that I generated, as you see the person, when that person comes in to see this document with that link, she will be required to enter a password. So I will enter my password. Well, let's enter a wrong password first. So I will just enter BUR. I will try to log in. And as you see, the system is not allowing you to do that. So it's not gonna let you enter with a wrong password. So I will enter the right one. I click login. And what happens is, as you see, it just starts the process of downloading. And then once it's ready, it shows up. And all the documents that are associated with the 2.2 release just arrived. So you might wonder about, all right, there are some questions already, but let me continue and then I will address them. So let's assume, hey, this is not about download, all right? So I just want people to access those files and do some modification, you know, and correction and all that. And they are not Salesforce users at all. So how can I do that? So let's, basically what we can do again is doing this for the folder itself if you want. And we can do it just for a file too. Don't worry about that. And I can show you that if you're interested. But it's a very simple toggle switch from public download to a public access. So what happens now is, as you see, the link has changed a little bit and the settings has changed. So we try to give you as many options as possible when you are doing this public access link, right? So one of them is obviously, hey, I want to turn on this option to enable public users to view files. This is a read-only mode, okay, for the users. The second one is the revise. That's also very critical. So you can turn on this option to enable users to update the information. So they are able to basically add a new version of that document, right? So they can revise your documents. They can upload new ones. So it might be that you want them, hey, listen, I want them to upload new documents into my S Drive using this option. They are not Salesforce users at all. Again, I want to mention about that. So I don't know. It really depends on your appetite for the security. You can do that. And even this option is we are bringing to the table is deleting, right? So they are able to delete your files. So you need to be a little bit careful about that and who you are giving this access to who, I guess. So you need to be careful about this. I'm not going to let them delete, but I'm going to give them, okay, so you can revise it, you can upload it, you can view it, right? And again, we can say, all right, I'll use the same password, VURAK. And here you also have the option to expire your links, these URLs, if you want to. You can set a date, you can set a time. And even I heard from some people that, hey, listen, I want to also just give this access to a certain IP range. So probably with contractors, for example, if you do not want to give Salesforce access to a contractor, but you want to enable him with S-Drive, you can simply use an IP range. You can get the IP range for him, and then you will be able to apply that as well. So, but just for the sake of time, what I will do is, and there are quite a bit of questions, so I will address them. Hold on. I will copy this public URL. Let's take it back to our Internet Explorer again. So I will just click on it. And again, it asks me the password. And magically, what happens is it basically shows you the folder that you just enabled for that contractor or that non-Salesforce user. So a non-Salesforce user, and I just want to urge you about this. I am not, right now, because I have this link, it's not like I have Salesforce access, that's why I'm easily be able to see it. No. Because I have the password, I am able to see this. So that's why I just wanted to get into an Internet Explorer environment so you're not confused about that. So I can go in, I can read the document, no problem. As a non-Salesforce user, I can make some edits because I'm allowed to, right? Again, as a non-Salesforce user. Then, all right, so, well, let's see if my changes are applied. Yes, seems like, and we can check this Commerce Cloud Playbook one back in S-Drive, whether this has changed or not. And what I can do is, if you remember, let's see, I can download it, I can open it, I can basically have several features enabled for me to do all of that, right? So we didn't enable delete, if you remember, so that's why it's not working now. But even if you delete something from that particular piece, it is not, you can still recover as a user using the recycle bin. So your users will be able to do all of that. Right? Okay, so we have quite a bit of questions about the public access. I knew that this would be the one that would make people get super excited about. So may I put a password protection on public access? So yes. So as I showed you, if you are giving public access to a particular user that is not Salesforce user, yes, you can do that easily. All right, so let's check the other questions. All right, super future, and I assume this comes by default with the new release and there's no extra cost for this. That is correct. So there's no extra cost for this at all. So you are able to expand into your non-Salesforce users to request files or display or show some files. Just curious, can we also configure S-Drive to automatically expire, delete all S-Drive files in certain years? That I need to get back to you about. I think with triggers, you are able to do that automatically. It might not be a trivial configuration though. Okay, there's another one. Can we only preview without downloading a single file? Yes, you can do that. There is another question. Can I control the URL to the file? Now, you can control, by control, I don't know what exactly it's meant, Igor, but I think that's, during the short URL creation, you can change that. So the way we enabled the short URL here is, it basically uses this SURL function that we have, and we basically enabled it that way. But you can change your short URL the way it looks, and it doesn't need to be like this, right? So you can basically change it in the way you want. What you cannot change is this last couple of pieces, because that determines, that's actually like randomly determined. But for the rest of it, for the rest of the short URL, you're able to do that. Okay. All right. So any other questions? Let me see. All right. Okay. So we have just a couple more minutes left. So what I want to do is, again, I guess, let's take a look real quick. And many people are also excited about this Connect Cloud. So we are living in a world where, unfortunately, content is all over the place. So we need to be realistic about that, right? So it's not like everything lives in Salesforce or something like that. But we are trying to make it easy for you to access those data that sits in a SharePoint, which is very, very common for enterprises, or OneDrive or Google Drive, which people are started to switch over, or Box, So what I want to do is to show you real quick, because we have very little time, is, all right, so let me go into it, basically go into S Drive real quick and then show you how this whole thing works, all right? So normally, let's assume that you just want to transfer a particular file from Box, right? So you can set this up. It's already set up in our instance, so you can test it. But the reality is that there's a little bit of configuration that needs to be done. You can find it on our advanced config guide. So what it did by just clicking that, I mean, it looks very easy, but right now it is in my Box account. So you can, what you are seeing here is not really what exists on Salesforce, but what you see here is what exists on your Box account. That's my personal account, basically. So what I can do is, hey, listen, I just want to take this particular file. One thing you can do is you can just basically click on Import External Files. And what it does is, if you go back now, it's just queued now. And if I refresh the page, it takes a while, not too much, depending on the speed of your queue. Let's wait for another second, maybe. But what it does, it basically carries over. Okay, there you go. It's not a small file, but it just carried over. So that's the beautiful thing. And the thumbnail will show up. It just takes another minute or two, and then the thumbnail of this will show up as well. So it is yours to use now. You can manipulate this data on Salesforce any way you want. Again, this is not limited to only to Box. You can do this with Google Drive, OneDrive, Box, SharePoint account. So regardless of which one you use, you can do that. So one question is, hey, I cannot upload documents larger than 2 gig. Can I do that here? So we basically try to test that. We believe you can, because we don't have any file size limitations when you're carrying over from that to that. So in fact, the Box account here is that you see here, the 10 gig is part of our testing. So it is doable. So if you have larger than 2 gig files, you're not limited like you are with Salesforce files. The file transfer shouldn't be failing. All right, so that's the other piece that we wanted to show. Any other questions? Okay, I guess not. All right, so very quickly, what I want to show you is maybe some last, a couple of little pieces as well here and there that are like rather small features, but they are very, very powerful. So seeing all of this, if you get excited about, oh my goodness, this is really fun, but unfortunately, I am using S Drive 1.25. I'm using 1.26, and this you're talking about 2.2. Isn't it a painful upgrade? The answer is no, not at all. So this, I call this auto magical sync button. So as soon as you click this, after you upload or upgrade to 2.2, it actually takes all the required fields that should be carried over. in your environment. One other piece is if you have a custom object that you basically have that you created, but you're just annoyed with all that process of creating a custom file object, right? We just simplified it here, right? So any other question? Let me see. All right, I'm already over time, I guess. So I just want to quickly talk a little bit about the next release. In the next release, what we want to do is we want to bring in the microservices concept. So with the preview and thumbnail that you have seen, the HD quality previews is our first baby step into microservices. But in the future, we want to bring more and more these what we call microservices in our platform. You can just basically enable those for the fraction of the cost, but you can do full-blown document lifecycle management on S Drive. So two of these that we hear from people the most are the backup and archival. And we are going to make it super simple, like the old other stuff that you have seen today. So you can easily back up your documents or files easily on S Drive using our stuff that we're going to develop. And also, you can even archive some of the files. There was a question about, hey, can I just auto-delete those files? So we never recommend you to delete stuff. You might need them, right? So our strong suggestion, I know Salesforce data is getting older and older, but you might want to archive them because you might need them, right? So therefore, we will bring an archival option in the next release, probably late August, early September. We will be able to bring that beautiful stuff for you so that you can easily archive the current documents you have. And we are very, very excited about that work, and we're just starting on that one. The other stuff that we have heard from you is, hey, I want to be able to tag files. I want to be able to follow them. Can you just enable all of that? And we're going to be working on these and making sure that you'll be able to tag them. And tagging is our starting point to make S Drive really intelligent. So going forward, because of AI and everything, as you heard about it, we are going to take a little bit of a different approach on the AI side, and hopefully you will enjoy that. But tagging is the first step for that. So you'll be able to tag the files. Currently you still create some custom files and do that, but tagging will be a very critical component for us to enable AI on top of it. And notes is also something that people said, hey, I just don't want to deal with this notes and attachment section at all, or Salesforce file. Can you help me with notes? And yes, you will be able to create notes on Salesforce. Again, we will have a little bit of a unique approach to this, so hopefully you will like that. And syncing is also important. So we hear a lot about people wanting Salesforce file sync feature, and that is coming in the next release, so no worries about that. And along with that, the note sync will happen as well. So that's pretty much all we are going to bring as part of the next release. So do you have any other questions before I wrap up this session? Because I'm a little over time, I guess 5 minutes, but great questions. Thank you very much for that. All right, let's see the chat. All right, I see this is amazing. Great job to you and your team. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. I hope you guys will enjoy all of that. If you have any questions, please, you can reach out to us at sdrive@signgate.com anytime. If you want to reach out to me in person and have some questions, you can reach out to me at burakf@signgate.com. So just let us know, and we will be more than happy to help you with anything that you need. Truly amazing presentation and great features. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.